Just going to bring in now another guest we've got standing by in Washington, D.C., President Bill Clinton's former spokesman, Bob Weiner. Thank you for joining us, Bob. It's interesting this evening. In many ways, I suppose, the results have played out as anticipated, as the pollsters said they would. But what do you take from it as to what the two front-runners have to do or can do as a consequence of these results?
I'm not sure I just heard you correctly. I don't think anyone anticipated Santorum taking 4 states, if that's the way it looks, and maybe more. I don't think people only anticipated Romney winning Virginia, which he only had Ron Paul on the ballot, Massachusetts, his home state, and Vermont, which is right next to his home state. If that's what it is, it's chaos for the Republicans, and it's a disaster for Romney, no matter how you skin it. And the technicality that Santorum didn't have the ability to get on the ballot in a couple of places, but he takes the popular vote. I think the Republicans may wind up looking for a Jeb Bush or a Daniels or a Christie. They still may go that route if Gingrich and Santorum can combine into enough delegates together to stop Romney from having a majority at the convention, which is a real possibility if this momentum for Santorum moves forward to the other states, and we're only a quarter of the way through. So to say that this was the results as expected, Martin, is not true.
OK, I stand corrected, and you're congratulated. You're the first person to bring up the name Jeb Bush tonight as well in all the conversations. Just remind us how that would play. You're saying that all 4 candidates, nobody can actually agree, even if it's right at the convention in August, that any one of them is any good. So you bring in another one at the last minute?
Well, it's been such a disaster for the Republicans, the way that they have played out, and it isn't the debates. That's a myth to say that it was the debates that caused the Republicans to lose popularity. It's never happened before that the entire spectrum of candidates has lost popularity. It's because of what they've been saying. Romney, the candidate of the rich, the elites, the NASCAR drivers, the corporations are people. I'm not concerned about the poor. And Santorum, how college is only for the elites, and he wants the Pope to be in bed between the husband and a wife. I mean, it's inane. Gingrich calling Obama the food stamp president when Bush had more food stamps than Obama did, and the Tiffany's candidate of the child janitor, and Ron Paul is the goldsmith who wants the gold standard. So you got some non sequiturs in debate after debate and speech after speech. And so the Republicans are justifiably completely dissatisfied with their candidates. About half the Republicans would like another candidate. And so you go to the convention, and even the candidates' delegates may well vote for someone else and allow a draft to come in for someone else. The Republicans are in utter chaos tonight, Martin. They don't know what to do. Their prime candidate, Romney, could only say in his speech that I've got 3 states and counting. There are 11 states up tonight, and he's got 3 states and counting. This is their front runner.
Yeah, but as you know much better than I do about all this electoral maths and delegates and stuff, he may lose Ohio and still have more delegates out of there, mightn't he, because of all that paperwork issue. But let me ask you about the fickleness, though, of popularity. I mean, President Obama is enjoying a little bit of a tick up. I've noted to many of our guests on this program tonight that he's actually more popular than any of the candidates lined up against him at the moment, but by a tiny margin, often by a margin of error. Now, surely, if the economy takes another dive over the summer and it ticks down a bit, and you've got the economic competence of Governor Mitt Romney put before the electorate, he could take it. He could win it.
It's absolutely true. You are 100% correct that if the economy tanks, that we could lose. There is no question about that. However, that isn't what's happening. We've had 23 straight months of job increases after Bush lost 750,000 a month. We are into gaining 250,000 jobs a month now under President Obama. You're out of Iraq. The American people hated the Iraq war. They still blame Bush and the Republicans for it. Romney wants to take us into another war. So that's where you are in that. Obama has ended torture. He's put GM and the car industry back to #1 in the world. And you've got a situation where Americans, for the first time, and the polls are showing this, have enormous hope and are blaming the Republicans in Congress by 15 points for obstructionism and for stopping the agenda, the positive agenda of the president. And they know that you have in Congress a Republican leader whose only goal is to defeat Obama. That's not what we're all about. When I worked on Capitol Hill, we had bipartisanship. I worked on the Hill for 16 years and for the White House for 6. And your objective as a public servant is actually to get something done for the country. These Republicans only want to stop Obama, and there are some subtle reasons for that, which the American people are seeing through.
On the very crude but simple measure of the price of gasoline, all these candidates are promising they can cut it dramatically, maybe get it down to $2 a gallon for most American consumers. Can the president match that?
Well, the president made very clear in his news conference today, which I had the privilege to attend and participate in, that it takes a multifaceted approach to attack the price of gasoline, from alternatives to energy, to working with other countries in producing supply, increasing the supply in the United States, and also monitoring the oil companies and the speculators. So it takes a comprehensive approach to do this. Now, we've let it be way too easy, Democrats and Republicans alike, Martin, to be honest, on the oil industry. They contribute an enormous amount in campaign contributions, and they should not be let off the hook. I firmly believe that what the president should do is haul these oil tycoons into the Oval Office and say, you are hurting the world economy, you are hurting the American economy, and I know that it's speculation that you are reaping $100 billion a year in profits from. In fact, this year it's $138 billion. And don't tell us how you need these subsidies, but tell us how you're going to reduce the price of gas so that people aren't suffering, so that people can afford college, so that people can go back to work. That's what the oil companies need to be doing, regardless of party.
Bob Weiner, great to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Stacey Hilliard from Republicans Abroad.